Well, greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We're coming to you live from the heartland into your heart. At least that's our hope. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, coming to you from an undisclosed location deep in the heart of Kansas, the land of Oz. I am a wizard, so I guess I'm a wizard from Oz, only it's different this time. No Emerald City, just a city of enlightenment. No curtains. Come on back and see how it's done. Learn how to guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru, and unindoctrinate yourself. Quick turnaround from our last show. And I've learned something very interesting in the chat room last show. If you watch the television show Lucifer, and I'm not going to judge you if you do, I happen to have never seen it because it just didn't catch my attention. But in season 4, Lucifer himself referred to his father as the rat bastard. I wonder where they heard that from. Because sometimes it gets a little lonely. You think, does anybody listen? Does anybody know? And the fact of the matter is, they know, ladies and gentlemen. They listen. And we know where they got the rat bastard from, because that's who he is. That's who the God of the Bible is. He is the rat bastard. He was created without a father. So that's why we lovingly refer to him as the rat bastard. Yes, I said it. The God of the Bible is the rat bastard. And he has earned that name repeatedly. So I'm also being informed very often, ladies and gentlemen, that many folks are being unsubscribed to this channel unknown to them, unbeknownst to them. So if you are subscribed to this channel, please go and make certain that you are still subscribed. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. If you hate me, you better keep an eye on me, because I'm just getting started. Best way to do that is to subscribe and hit the bell so you always are notified of our new information. If you love me and want to not miss anything, the best way is to subscribe and hit that bell. And I would rather you love me, but if you can't, please hate me, because it's the indifference that I can't do anything with. And we're here. We're just 36,000 people trying to change the world. And we're not trying to change the world. Forgive me for saying that. We're 36,000 plus people changing the world. We've made network television. And we're just getting started. Of course, Rocky Stucci and I are about to roll out our nationally syndicated radio show, so that helps too. So let's talk about something that I've talked a lot about, but I feel like I have to go back to it again. And I have to go back to it again because there's so many deceivers. There's so many liars. There's so many, what are they called? They pretend they're one thing, but they're not. They're what are they? They're posers, they're actors, they're deceivers, they're misdirectionists. They're really practicing a dark magic, ladies and gentlemen. And this dark magic is designed to keep you just a little bitty bit into the blood, guilt, fear, control matrix, so you can't really be truly free. It's people that try to say they're free, but yet say they've got salvation. Oh, you're free, you're powerful, but you still need salvation. And I'm here today to ask you and to show you and to give you for your consideration data that suggests that salvation in the Christian context is not salvation at all. It's actually the surrender of sovereignty. And any and everyone, ladies and gentlemen, hear me now, look at me. Any and everyone that is encouraging you to receive salvation is really encouraging you to surrender your sovereignty. You can be saved or you can be sovereign. You can't be both. It's a choice, and it's a choice you have to make. Salvation or sovereignty, that is our subject here today on the Christian Whistleblower channel. You see that I wear these bracelets. You always ask why. Most of you know I wear these. These are Mystech bracelets. They restore my body to the original Schumann resonance of the earth. They stop the molecular chaos in my body, put me on an even keel, remove the dis-ease from body, mind, and spirit, and give me a stable platform on which to unindoctrinate myself. You can't see it, but I'm sitting in a 850 plus conscious field on the Hawking scale. This also gives me a firm foundation from which to indoctrinate myself. That's the focused life force energy. Go to my website, jeffreydaugherty.com, and you can see how to get a free trial without any credit card, without any reason to cancel or need to cancel on the focused life force energy, which is fluffy in the upper right-hand corner, or the Mystech bracelets. And I know I say Jesus won't save you, but Plastic Jesus will save you. 20% on Mystech. It's just that simple. It's just that easy. All you have to do is go to the website, follow a couple of easy peasy quick instructions. I'll show you real quick, and we'll get into our subject. Here's the website. Plastic Jesus greets you. Just click on Mystech up here. You can go to the site, see what you want. Click here. Plastic Jesus will save you 20%. It gets mailed to you direct from Mystech. If you want to try the Focus Life Force Energy, either the phone version or the home version, or both, because they're both 15-day free trials, just do it right here. And that will get you all set up, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and get into our subject matter today. And our subject matter is, in fact, wow. Boom, here we go. This idea of salvation, this idea of ceding sovereignty. And let me just show you what I'm talking about directly from the scriptures. So it's very easy to see and very plain to see. And remember, the text doesn't care what you've been taught, ladies and gentlemen. And here's the base verse for this. And, you know, you read this and you want to rejoice if you're a Christian, but you should read it and your blood should chill in your veins, because it's selling your soul and ceding your sovereignty. But if the spirit of him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwells in you. And of course, we're coming off of Revelation 3:20 that says, the Father and the Son stand at your door and knock. The Father and the Son stand at your door and knock. If any man opens that door, they will come into you and they will make their abode in you. That's in Revelation 3:20. So think about that for a minute. Take it out of the Christian context for a second. Just look at it as a regular spiritual context. Two spiritual entities are standing and knocking at the door of your heart. Do you think that's really an unusual occasion? Do you think that's really an unusual event? Don't you think that as a spiritual person, as a person that's trying to grow and develop, trying to ascend, if that's the word you like to use, don't you think it would be fairly regular that spirits that would seek entrance into your heart, into your life, into your spirit, into your very self? There's a lot of spirits that are knocking on your door. I'm hearing Paul McCartney right now. There's a lot of them. And it makes me chuckle because I remember that Dracula and the vampires, they also knock at your door. And it's funny how Revelation 3:20 says, and if any man open the door and invite them in, which is exactly the same thing that you have to do with Dracula or any other vampire. And what do they want? They want your blood, just like any and every other vampire. So maybe Plastic Jesus should be pictured with fangs. I'll have to think about that. But at any rate, here's two entities. They're standing and knocking at the door of your heart. And if you invite them in, they will live with you. They will make their abode in you. They will take up residence in you. And I'm reminded that if any spirit comes in, it's possible they might bring in 7 worse than them. So you really could end up having 16 spirits in you for the price of 2. What a deal. Come on down to the spiritual Walmart. You only asked for 2, but we gave you 16. What a deal. Jeff, that's blasphemous. No, it's not Christian, ladies and gentlemen. We're just talking about spirituality in a generic sense. In a generic sense, would you make that deal? Let me go ahead. Do I want to invite entities to possess me? Question number one. Do I want to invite up to 16 entities to possess me? Do I want that deal? Of course you wouldn't do that deal. You would never do that deal. But let's just pretend that you said, well, how would I do that deal if I wanted to do that deal? They said, well, it's very easy. What you do is we'll lower the lights, we'll sing some somber music, and we'll have you walk and march down to an altar. You know what they do at altar? They do blood sacrifices on altars. We'll have you walk down to an altar, and there'll be this emblem of human sacrifice and torture up there in front of you. Might have a dead guy on a stick. It might just be the stick without the dead guy. But anyway, you march down there. You get on your knees. You raise your hands. Looks like surrender to me. And then you give your soul to these entities. You give your soul to them. You ask them to cover you in blood. You promise to serve them forever, and you ask them to give you eternal life at the price of your soul, and they cover you with blood. And then you ask those two entities to come into your heart, and they live and they abide in you forever. How many of you would make that deal? And remember, if you get 2, you might get 16, because 7 others can come in with them, more evil than they. How many of you in an objective spiritual reality would make that deal? Not many of you. Who wants to be possessed by 16 demons? Who wants to sell their soul? Who wants to be covered by blood? It's crazy. But put it into a church, put a choir in robes, put a dude in a dress or a $10,000 suit, and all of a sudden now you got salvation instead of the seating of sovereignty. You tell me the difference, because there ain't one. And I've asked people, some of them very prominent, if I called their name, you'd be shocked, to debate me, but they won't, because there's really no debating this fact. So think about that while we look at this verse and see what the deal is that you get when you make that covenant with 16 demons, which adds up to 7, which is completion. Boom. That's a little revelation in the afternoon. You ask 2 to come in, 7 more just like them can come in. That's 14. 14 and 2 is not, wait a minute. So it's 7 and 7 is 14, 15, 16 with the Father and the Son. 1, 6, 7. That's complete possession. That means you're not getting out of it. Wow. 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 Yeah. My goodness, folks. Powerful stuff. And here's what you get. If that spirit that raised Jesus up from the dead, which is the Father and Son waiting, knocking on your door, Dracula and Edward Cullen knocking on your door, they come in, and it's kind of funny because Dracula would be like the Father, Edward Cullen would be like the Son. That's good comedy right there. So they come into your heart. So you've got Edward Cullen and you've got Dracula in your heart, and Dracula is the one that raised Edward from the dead. So that spirit, that Dracula spirit, dwells in you. And he that raised up Edward Cullen from the dead will also quicken your mortal body. What a deal. Jeff, you don't understand. I get to be immortal. Or do you? Let's see what the verse really says, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what the verse really says. So, if that spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead lives in you, he who raised Jesus from the dead will give life. He will make alive, like Frankenstein. He's alive. He's alive, Igor. He's alive. I will make that which was dead to live. I will cause to live and quicken. Well, Jeff, that's good news. Eternal life, man. I get eternal life, bro. What's wrong with that? I get made alive. Have you ever heard, make sure you read the fine print before you sign a document? Make sure you read the fine print before you give your soul away and invite 16 demons in you, which is a 7, which is emblematic of complete possession. Locked in cousin. Made alive, but you gotta, oh, I'm alive. I'll be alive forever. Immortality. Wait a second. Read the rest of the contract. He will also give life, but it's very specific what he'll give life to. He will give life to, and can I just stop and say that if you have signed this contract and given your life, your soul to these entities, it's not yours anymore. You're no longer sovereign. Even Christians would admit they're no longer sovereign. And it says in another place, and I'll show you, that you're bought with a price. Let's show you that right now. Bought with a price. So you know exactly what we're talking about. Bought with a price. I'm so glad I learned to type in high school. I didn't want to take that class, but every single day I literally am thankful. Literally thankful that I learned to type in high school. I would have never written 14 books without it. So you are bought at a price. I didn't know that was in there. You were bought. You were bought. You were sold in the marketplace. You were sold in the slave market, ladies and gentlemen. Every one of you Christians, Paul, the apostle, writer of 2/3 of the New Testament, tells you by way of disclosure, you were bought in the slave market. You were purchased like a cow, like a piece of meat, like a bull, like a turtle dove. You're nothing but the new sacrifice, cousin. They went to the marketplace and they bought you. And you are bought and paid for, ladies and gentlemen. You are bought, and just to make sure you know it, you were bought at a price. They put a value on you. How much did you cost? How much did you cost? How much is your soul worth? A lot more than what you're getting, and I'll show you. But do you realize that you're bought with a price? Therefore, since you're bought with a price, now indeed, what do you have to do? Render or esteem glory, bestow glory upon, do your diligence to who? To God. He bought you. You got to serve him. He's your massa now. And it gets right back to the fact that it's your body. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, I'm so happy that I get to have eternal life. I get to be born again, and I get to raise from the grave. But watch what he says. Paul gave you a hint there when he said it's your body. He will give life to what? He will give life to your mortal body. The body subject to death. This physical body is what he gives life to. You have sold your soul. You've been covered with blood. You've become the habitation of 16 demons. Some would call that a legion. Ooh. That's a good one. Christian legions. Pardon me while I prepare for some more podcast excellence. Christian legions. He will, and what you get for that is reborn into this mortal body subject to death. So what you get in exchange for your eternal soul, spirit, whatever you call it, your essence, what you get for giving them all your energy is the right to come back into this body over and over and over and over again. This body that bleeds, this body that gets cut, this body that gets sick, this body that gets cancer, this body that gets old, this body that catches flu and dysentery, this body that burps and farts and craps and messes all over itself. Congratulations. You just gave away your eternal essence for the right to return into this meat suit over and over and over again. Congratulations. Are you happy with the deal you've made? You get to come back again and again into this body, subject to death. I didn't say it. Paul said it. Boom, there it is. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations. Not only have you given up your sovereignty, you have given it up for the right to come back into a sack of bones and guts. Congratulations. But think about this. But Jeff, he says that we're going to actually, the mortal will put on immortality. Yeah. And it says flesh and blood can't inherit heaven. Oh, really? Is that what it says? Because remember this one? Remember this one right here? Enoch walked with God and he was not because God took him. Where'd God take him? Where's God live? God lives in heaven. Was Enoch still flesh and blood? Yep. Where is he? In heaven. Flesh and blood can live in heaven. And it'll still age. It'll still bleed. It'll still burp. It'll still fart. It'll still crap itself in heaven. And it'll still die there. And what will they do? Raise you up again. Congratulations. Well, Jeff, I don't know. That's just Enoch. What if, how about this one right here? For we which believe in that Jesus died and rose again, the Lord will come, and we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and we'll be with the Lord. Where did you get changed? You didn't. You're still flesh. You're still mortal. But no. It says that at the trump will be changed in an instant, in the twinkling of an eye. That's not what it says. Let me show you what it says, ladies and gentlemen. It says at the last trump. At the last trump, we will be caught. At the last trump, you'll be changed. When's the last trump? It doesn't happen until what you would call the middle of the tribulation period, which isn't going to happen. Let me give you a little hint. It ain't never coming. You've been conned. You've gladly given your eternal soul and paid today for a cheeseburger tomorrow that's never going to be served. There is no cheeseburger in paradise. You bought it and you've been conned. You've been sold down the road. And you've given that which is most precious for absolutely no reward. You've been lied to. You've been cheated on. You've been stolen from. You've ceded your sovereignty for a thing called salvation, which only guarantees that you get to come back into this wreck of a world and this wreck of a body forever and ever and ever. Is that really what you want? If it is, congratulations. If you want better, if you want to be immortal, if you want to get out of this flesh, if you want to get out of this density, if you actually want to, what you say you want to do, ascend, you can't do it with what you've done. And all these people that try to tell you, they try to make you walk in both worlds. The reason why they do it, well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, because they can get a lot of clicks and a lot of subscribers and a lot of support and a lot of money. That's why they do it. Because there's billions of Christians in this world. And if you piss them all off, they're not going to subscribe to your channel. Trust me, I know. If you piss them all off, they're not going to support you. Trust me, I know. But if you can walk with 1 foot in the Christian world, in the blood world, and 1 foot in the divine and sovereign and free world, then they'll subscribe to your channel. Trust me, I watch it. If you can be all things to all people, they will pay you. Trust me, I watch it. That's what they're doing to you. And when they tell you, oh, you can be saved and you can be sovereign, the text from which they claim to preach, the red letters, shows that it's wrong and it's a lie. What are they doing? They're making merchandise of you. They're selling you a bill of goods that guarantees that you never achieve immortality for a few clicks and for a few dollars. And some of you watch this channel and say, yeah, Jeff, you're the best. And then you go and watch other channels that say the stuff that I warn you about. It's up to you, but you need to make a choice. You need to make a decision. Because if you don't, you're stuck. You can't be a little bit saved. You can't be a little bit bloody. If you've got any of that blood, any of that salvation in your life, you have no sovereignty. And you are cut off from immortality. You're cut off from ascension. You are locked in a sevenfold covenant. You're locked into a blood covenant. You're locked into an energetic covenant that only you can break. But if you think you can walk in both worlds, if you think you can have a little dab will do you, a little dab will do you, a little dab will do you in. I'm here to give you information and to give you objective empirical data, and you're the ones that have to make the decisions. It's up to you. I'm the mailman. I bring you the mail. Sometimes I bring you bills and you hate me. Sometimes I bring you checks and you love me. Nancy says, unlock the blood covenant. I'm looking forward to the Franklin Graham debate. I wish I could debate Franklin Graham. Greetings to you, truth seekers. Lucky Stone says, YouTube Secrets by Professor Daugherty. Fear sells, easy sells. Don't piss off subscribers. So ain't that the truth? I bought a Bible from 1839 and there was no red letters. It's because they weren't invented until after that. But the red letters are the most holy. The red letters, and I did a show on this, were invented by the Catholics, by the Jesuits. And they weren't there until I think it was 1854, 74, something like that. But they're the red letters. Red letters, black letters. They're all Roman letters. Red letters, black letters, they're all King James letters. Red letters, black letters, they're all dung. Put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. Make a letter red, it's still a letter that'll get you dead. Overwhelmingly, yes, they are. Jeff is pissing off Christians. Yeah, I know. It's what I do. It's what I do. I'm expecting to hear the ShamWell guy, but wait, there's more. No, that's it. That's it. Soul's got to eat too, you know. Yes, it's disgusting. Get that corn out of my face. Let's see. You know, I played the game of telephone when I was a kid, says David Gregg. And I understand how messages can get messed up just 3 or 4 people down. I can only imagine in 2,000 to 3,000 years. Absolutely. Stuck in reincarnation, never to be set free, says Ghost Lubish. She gets it. Jennifer Roberts says Tracy revolving door. Boom. She gets it. Re-legionized again and again, Tracy Dyer. She gets it. Boom. The paper signed by your parents, and we're not talking about that. Jennifer Roberts. But you can take your sovereign seat back. Face the truth. Deal with the implications of it. Dust yourself off. Cut those cords. Burn those ropes. Renounce any ownership and be free. She's got it. And that's exactly what you need to do. And if you want to, there's a video on this channel that'll show you how to do it. Search Breaking Christian Covenants and you will see it. Boom. Let's see. Don't sell yourself short, Jeff. Shakespeare didn't use a keyboard. Well, yeah, Sir Francis Bacon didn't use a keyboard. It starts when they get people to believe in original sin, which is the original lie. Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. A slave forever. Isn't that great? You get to be a slave forever. Isn't that fun? Love it. And these people try to tell you they love you. They try to tell you that they're there for you. They try to tell you that they're helping you when they're leading you to, here's a great analogy. Check this out. A lot of people don't know this, but back in the days when the slaves were being brought to America, which was in the North, by the way, not the South, the slaves were being brought to the North and they were collecting some money there. Factoid for you. And then they were sold at the slave markets. Do you know how the slaves got on the ships in Africa? Do you know? Have you heard? Well, what happened is that in the jungles, the cities, whatever there was in Africa, I wasn't there. There were black people that would go out and capture other black people and sell them to the white guys to put on the ships and take across the sea. So every black slave in the hold of a ship, those horrific places, was put there by another black person. How horrific is that? To sell your brother, your fellow human, into such servitude and slavery and horror. Well, guess what? The person, and I can imagine they probably said to some of them, hey, man, we're going to put you in the ship. They're going to take you to this new place, and it's going to be really cool. I'm about to draw a very, very poignant analogy. Just like those black people capturing other black people, putting them on ships, selling them into slavery, a horrific condition, these people that want to tell you to partake in salvation, partake in the blood, be possessed, have a salvation experience, Jesus, Jesus, Father, Father, red letters, they're the black people capturing other black people. They're taking you and selling you into slavery, and they're making profit for it. Ooh. And I imagine that somewhere in Africa, there were some other black people that would raid these places and free some people every now and then. That's who we are. We're raiding the people that are profiting by selling you into slavery, pretending they're doing you a favor. Yeah, I don't think I can be any more clear than that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, bringing you the information that no one else will. Bringing you the information because no one else has the experience that I have to do it, the training that I have to do it, and no one else has a give a damn that's busted like mine. No doctrines to defend. No church beliefs to prop up. Just the text. And the text doesn't care what you've been taught. So not only are you being tempted to cede your sovereignty for slavery called salvation, but know that the people that are trying to get you to do it are doing it to profit themselves. And they probably know what they're doing. In this day and age, they probably know what they're doing. But Jeff, that makes them very dark. Yeah, it does. It's called dark magic, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Bringing you to water, hoping you'll drink. Bringing you to objective truth and hoping that you'll think. You're the last generation of real humans. Will you be sovereign or will you be saved? Will you be slaved? Because remember, folks, Jesus slaves. I got the t-shirt to prove it. Be divine, be sovereign, be free. Unindoctrinate yourself.